Welcome everybody to the Reality or Not podcast with your big homie Eddie over there holding it down. How do you holding it down in Detroit today, man?
Uh, Busy. What about you?
Just living and giving and last name Macmillan, chilling like a villain, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just
What are you giving?
giving everything, man. Giving my all, effort, energy, life, whatever I can. So
That sounds exhausting.
yeah, it is. It could be a bit much, but hey, look, you only live on one of them. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So let me ask you this question: Have you been paying attention to the draft, like with the NFL draft recently or this past week?
I have not.
Okay, but
No.
you know all of the hoopla with Shedeur not being a first round pick, right? Or second round or third round or even fourth round, right?
I mean, I've heard it. I don't know. I don't watch college football, so I don't know how good he is. So I don't know if he's really a first round pick or not. I don't know. Okay, he's gonna still get money. But go
Yeah.
ahead. What are your
Well,
thoughts?
sorta. It depends because if you look at how it works, like usually from a draft perspective, it really affects your contracts for the rest of your for the rest, like for your next signing. So, like, say for instance with Cleveland who ended up picking them up at the 144th pick, they got five quarterbacks right now, and they drafted one quarterback in front of them, and then they got, one of the quarterbacks is Flacco, so whatever. But then you got Deshaun Watson as an example that's just been hurt for a minute. But shoot, I think Deshaun Watson, he had like a $200 million guarantee at one point in time. So,
Mm.
of course, they go try to, play them before they play the one, or they play any of their draft picks or anything like that. So, um, let me ask this question: Do you feel as if, or do you think that with Dion being his father, that had an impact, and if not, why not? So
I mean, I don't know. I don't know nothing about them. Like they just play football. Like I don't know. Is he a QB1 quarterback in the NFL?
he was projected as the second best quarterback in the NFL draft.
But from what I understand, this was a weak draft for quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean
Is
but
that right?
I think it was like five quarterbacks that were drafted ahead of him though. So it was kind of like
So
everybody's
what?
talking like with Mel Kiper saying, he's not sure how he dropped this far. Then of course Stephen A. But I don't really like Stephen A. is cool, but he may have some biases that with him being associated to Dion. But um, I just it's just weird. Like, is it would you? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I never care for that stuff. Honestly, I feel like sometimes with quarterbacks, or just with players in general, like things happen the way that they happen. And, the league or NFL, NBA, whatever, they tend to, I don't want to say frown upon, but they tend to try to protect the legacy of the organization over being focused on the player, if that makes sense. So I'm always, but for him to drop to the fifth pick or the fifth round, it seemed excessive because you got 32 teams, so which means that four rounds went by and they were like, well, we still don't need him, type of stuff. So it's either he's a good enough quarterback to, well, he's going to have to prove that he's a good enough quarterback to make it to the league, or they saw something that said that whether it's IQ or his interviews and stuff like that, that made them not consider him to be a first round or second round pick or even third round pick or fourth round pick. So
So what happened in the interviews?
they were, that information hasn't gotten out, but they were saying that he may have been impacted by it. So um, it can almost be, I mean, it could be anything, honestly. I mean, it could be, hey, me above the team, or if I come here, I got to start, or, and even like it could essentially not that is at this level, but like Colin Kaepernick level, where, you may be more of a headache, putting you on the team than a benefit. So
You're right. I got you.
yeah, so you
Yeah.
just you just never know. I mean, I I don't think it was put there for him to be humbled, but at the same time, it's like now he has to truly earn that starting position or backup position or anything like that. So
I got you. I, I don't know, man. Somebody else asked me, and I guess I like he is really starting. If everyone thought he was a starting quarterback, I feel like he would have went before
in the
five.
NFL,
Like you might, yeah, like I
nah,
feel
nah,
like
he's not
you're
there
not.
yet. Nah, he's not there yet.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
Hmm.
so he drops to the fifth round. Like, I mean, I don't watch the NFL. I don't watch college football to know. Like, I mean, if he was really that dude, yeah, maybe they humble him and not take him in the first round. But somebody before the fifth round, if they really think that you capable of being like a franchise quarterback,
Hmm.
it's 32 teams in the NFL. Somebody's gonna take you in the second or third round. Like,
Hmm.
so I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I see. I never really watched him play, so I don't know how good of a quarterback he is. I don't know if he actually has a chance to be like a starting quarterback, or even like a franchise quarterback. Um, so like I don't think if you were like show a franchise quarterback ability that you would drop to the second round, regardless of who your pops is. Um, Cause I was talking to I look at the Ball brothers, like LeVar Ball. You could tell LeVar Ball was going to be a headache, especially with Lonzo Ball coming in.
Hmm.
I mean, teams just Lakers just said we're gonna deal with it. New Orleans, I think by that time, not New Orleans, but Charlotte, I think by that time, like LeVar had seen the mellow out a little bit. But I
Hmm.
think like, man, I think some ways teams will figure this stuff out. Like if Sanders was really like a franchise quarterback, I think by the second or third round, somebody would be like, all right, we're gonna take him and we're gonna like figure this out.
Hmm.
Like yeah, we know Leon, but like, but I don't know. Maybe he'll get out there. Maybe he'll ball out in Cleveland. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
to your point, I do. I feel like talent stands above all, right?
yeah,
Um, and as you mentioned with the Ball brothers, it's like even with that, even with Lonzo, right?
mhm,
Lonzo was a top five pick. You know, he had
yeah,
the talent and he's still. I mean, even though he's been riddled with injuries the past 3 or 4 years, like he's a he's a talent to that was gonna make it to the league. Then
right,
you have
yeah,
Melo, which I think that they learned a lot from, and was like, okay, well, this dude. I mean, but Melo, if you look at Melo's career, I mean, his path to the NBA, it wasn't the cleanest. You know, it was
no,
him playing in his
not at
own
all.
pops league. It was going
Hmm.
overseas. It was, it was a lot different than the traditional path to get there. But when
Right,
LaMelo got to try out and and go to the combine and all that stuff, he proved that hey, look, I'm a top five pick, and
right, yep,
that's where it went. I mean, honestly, I like. I mean, it was kind of annoying at times, but I liked what LeVar was doing because he was just advocating. He was just a larger voice than
yeah,
than most fathers, and even on top of that, I mean, I liked when he I like when he put people in check on interviews. He was just like, "Nah, you ain't gonna tell me
right,
what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it is." And I mean, it got to the point. I remember one time he was interviewing, or he was being interviewed, and this woman was like, she was saying that, are you saying this because I'm a woman? He was like, man, don't make it about that right now. It's like we talking about this, and
right,
you just a terrible reporter, So
right,
like that part of the game, I love, and that's what's dope about Dion is Dion, stood up for his team or stood up for his players and his sons. Whether it's going to a smaller school and not taking the traditional route to ended up taking over at Colorado and having them shine.
right,
I mean, Shiloh went undrafted. I mean, nobody expected Shiloh to be, a high pick anyway. But it's weird with Shedeur. I mean, because people are coming up with all these conspiracy theories saying, well, if it's racist or not. I don't think it's necessarily racist. I think sometimes people get mixed up within the words of being racist and being prejudiced. Um,
right.
of course, some teams could have had certain prejudice, against, picking them up. It's even it was an interview with Dion that I watched or posted the other day, and he was saying how I know the teams that I don't want him to go to. So it's kind of like you're already alienating. I don't know how many. I mean, he didn't say a number or anything like that, but you're already alienating teams that or organizations that you don't want them to play for.
Right.
So, and honestly, my speculation or my guess would be it's either from him hearing it from other players or potentially teams that he played for. So it's like, well, how do you consider drafting him if it's in Atlanta or a San Francisco or a Dallas that or a Baltimore that you say, hey, I don't like those organizations. My son can't go there.
Right.
Or if it's like an organization that I was watching this interview earlier today. And he was saying how this is his draft night. He was saying how thankful he wasn't drafted by the Lions. So it's just like little things that I don't know. I don't really. I would have liked him to go a little bit earlier, but I'm not in like as long as he gets to the NFL, he can prove his point. That's cool. But it's always difficult, like I said, with the money thing, because if you get drafted higher, even if, you don't, you get the more guaranteed money, versus like having to prove your point. You're damn near on the scout team, in my opinion, if you're drafted that late within the 5th round, and some people are comparing it to Tom Brady and stuff like that. But Tom Brady honestly wasn't really that great at Michigan. He was decent.
Right.
I think he started like the last few games. I think it's like maybe 6 or 7 games at Michigan. Other than that, he was playing backup for the most part. So he was definitely a project. But it's weird to see now. It's like, well, Shedeur was pretty talented at Colorado, but the landscape of the game or what I see from quarterbacks now are that you have to be very mobile and you have to have an arm, and I think he has an arm, but I don't think he's really that mobile out of the pocket. So
Okay, got you.
so, but he's still good. He's still efficient. I think he can, make a roster. I don't think with Cleveland drafting him, I think he'll still be on the roster. I don't know about starting anytime soon, but honestly, if he goes to certain organizations, it's almost like like I said, the Colin Kaepernick thing where it's like, why ain't you playing him and blah blah blah, and that light is on the team as much, so it almost impacts the team more with a distraction versus the quarterback that whatever quarterback that beat him out is starting, because you have a quarterback that's starting and you see him go, I don't know, 5 for 22 completions or something like that. It's like the chants are like, put Shedeur in. So you just don't know. And like I said, I've noticed within the NFL, they don't want any distraction. No matter how talented you are. What's my man that walked off the field from Tampa Bay? Brown. This is Brown, right? Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Antonio Brown. It's like, dude, you were like at one point in time, you were the best receiver in the league, like hands down. And not to say that nobody wasn't that close, but you were pretty much above all receivers, and you were playing with Tom Brady. So, you had, the opportunity. They had won the championship not that long ago before that. You had the opportunity to be that successful. And then when you have somebody that's advocating for you within Tom Brady, like, oh no, that's my guy, blah, blah, blah. Then, you walking off the field, taking your jersey off. that was just a wild day, because all you did was hear stuff about him, and it was just crazy, man. But all that being said, I think Shedeur will be fine. It's just going to be a harder road for him to be able to get there. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be in Cleveland, but that's just, I just don't fucking like this. Not, I don't say I don't like the city, but it's not a vacation location that I would target, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'd be cool. How you feel about all of the Shannon stuff that's going on right now with the chick, the OnlyFans woman?
I don't know. I don't care. All I heard is some young white girl he got caught up with sexual assault. I heard he stepped away from ESPN. Man, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, whatever. Like, if you did it, then go down. If you didn't do it, then hopefully, yeah. Man, sometimes people got, man. These celebrities gotta be smart about some things they do, man. Like why you out here trying to bag a young girl, man? Like, but I don't, man. Whatever, man. He gonna do what he do.
See, I look at it two different ways, right? And one way is just like he's rich. If you want to smash somebody like that, I mean, because they were in a consensual relationship from everything that was displayed within evidence and stuff like that so far. As far as text messaging, communication, they hung out like a lot. I mean, they were essentially in a relationship, right? So
Right.
when they did the little video about him choking her and stuff like that, what Shannon had mentioned was, that was more of a sexual thing,
Right.
mentioning that, but he said the video was put together to make it sound like he was trying to choke her.
Right.
So the thing about it is, it's just weird that, I mean, it's almost like say for instance, if I was going to the NBA or NFL or anything like that. I still don't even get the Anthony Edwards just shooting up the club, but I do. Ironically, I
Right.
like the way that he's not to say that I like the way that he's handling it, but I like the fact that he's like, well, if y'all gonna get me on, like, I don't want this child. I'll
Right.
pay the 18 years child support now. I'm done with it.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that because he still hasn't gotten that. Well, he might have got extended. I can't remember, but that impacts his future money if it keeps going on every time that they have to do a or court case for child support.
Right.
So if he does a one-time payout, then he's done with it. It's off his plate. If he doesn't want to be the parent of that child, and that's fine. But for Shannon, it's, I mean, like you said, you should read the room. You should understand that, okay, this person is young. Because this is my thing. I'm not. I mean, because people saying, "Oh, it's disgusting that she was young." Da, da, da. I was like, listen. I mean, we keep moving the goalposts on age, right? I
Right.
mean, you go to the pedophile shit, like, okay, that's cut off. So if you say if it's not in the pedophile thing, now you're just saying, oh, it's disgusting for this 56-year-old man to be doing blah blah blah. It's like, well, no, it's because it doesn't, it outside of the laws and what you say is disgusting is
Right.
two different things, right? So not to say that, I mean, I know me personally, I couldn't deal with somebody that's like that young. Like, hell, I got nephews and nieces that are older than that,
Right.
but that doesn't say I can't deal with somebody that's, you know, 30 or 40, it's just interesting to see. And I put this situation almost very, like, it matches up very close, at least in my eyes, to the Jonathan Majors thing, where it's impacting your business. And when Jonathan Majors was about to get, all the movies that was about to come out with the Kang Wars and stuff like that for Marvel or Disney,
Right.
and they both fall under Disney, as far as that employment and stuff like. I mean, well, he was working with Stephen A. Smith, and they were saying like the deal was supposed to kind of be through ESPN for that 100 million, but it feels as if every time something like that happens, like here's somebody out here, I want to say whistleblowing, but you know, whether being guilty or not guilty, it impacts business.
Right. I got you.
So like how do you handle that? Like, I mean, and I, not to say that is right or wrong, but I get the 10 million payout just so it didn't impact the business. They just didn't go for it because a lot of people's like, well, if you're not guilty, then why pay them out? And it's like I said, this goes back to the Jonathan Majors thing. Jonathan Majors was damn near running from this chick in the streets, trying to stay away from her.
Right.
And he still got hit with even like the stuff that he was charged for. He didn't get hit with that. He got hit with misdemeanors and stuff like that. And he still lost his deals. He's still trying to fight for his career now. I mean, he was the next up and coming black actor at that time. I mean, or black male actor at that time. And you have him where even I remember that month of February, he had 3 movies in the theater at once. He had Ant-Man, he had the Flight movie, and he had and Creed 3. So he had so he was really starting to get to that point of growth within his career to blow up. And mind you, he had the show that got canceled, but it was dope as hell. And that's what kind of blew him up. The one that was on HBO. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that shit was dope as hell.
What you're talking about,
yeah. So it's just weird. Like I see it. Like I said, I don't know everything, but I do see it going down that same path of Jonathan Majors, where he stands to lose it all. Now, luckily, with Club Shay Shay and all that stuff, he owns that. So, I mean, I even saw a video with him yesterday, talking about the Shedeur thing. So, I mean, he's still staying active, but almost you kind of don't want the light on you. It's like a give and a take, right? You don't want the light on you, but at the same time, you don't want to lose the crowd or the people that support, your product.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Oh. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I just don't really care.
I feel you. No, it's just interesting to what's in the headlines now. I mean, you got Shedeur, you got Shannon, you got fucking Kanye talking about sucking dicks on songs and shit until he's like 14 years old. You heard about that shit, right?
I've just heard about that today, man. I'm so tired of that nigga.
He's exhausted, and it's like, bro, like how much do you have to keep? Don't nobody like. It's almost like look at me,
Yeah.
and that's exhausting to me. It's like, bro, I don't like. Don't get me. I mean, I told you, Kanye is probably my favorite. I definitely say his catalog, is probably my favorite catalog of like all rappers damn near. And he has one of the best ones. And it's just like, well, when you heard Kanye, not that I necessarily identify with him, but definitely with College Dropout, I identify, like I related directly to Kanye, as far as just growing up in the Midwest, not having it all, not necessarily being, poor, but not necessarily being rich either. It's like, just growing up as a child, in a Midwest type of attitude as a child, even though he grew up in Chicago and us in Muskegon. But it's just, and like I said, that's how I relate to Common as well too. But it's just interesting to hear, like, it feels like it's cries for help, but then it feels like it's trying to grab attention as well. So you have something like with his academics interview where he was doing an interview at first, and then he went and put on the cape and all that stuff in the iced out swastika around his neck. It's like, bro, like, are you meaning to offend, or like are you trying to? Because sometimes people try to take the power out of things, and honestly, it's so much blood on it. It's hard to. It's just like taking the power out of slavery. I'll see things like this little thing, like, say for instance, I don't know if you're familiar with like say for instance a hard drive, right? Like a hard drive has a master and a slavery. Like it's two different things to turn on. Like it's either going to control the computer or it's going to be a part of the computer, right? So they had to change the name of that, just because how the word slavery in what the connotations and meaning that it has to it. So it's just interesting to see like someone trying to take something that was clearly racist and trying to make it a positive thing. It's like almost with the Confederate flag. I still don't identify with the Confederate flag as something that needs to stand. I mean, people will come and tell you, hey, but it has this meaning, or it means this, and blah, blah, blah. This is what it means to us. And it's like, well, that's fine. But it's just like, it's just like you saying nigga and saying, well, I'm singing the lyrics of the song. It's like, no, offended that you're using that word, no matter how many times Jay-Z says it or whatever rapper says it. It's still offensive when you say it, So and
Exactly.
and it's definitely. I mean, you go into the LGBTQ community and stuff like that, and it's like, well, I feel like sometimes there's more service for everything outside of being black. So
Mm-hmm.
when that happens, it's kind of like I'm not gonna cry and boohoo about it, but at the same time, you don't want to see one of our artists that we look up to or looked up to, you know, taking something very negative and trying to make up, because it wasn't just the Jewish people, it was black people as well, that was impacted by that. So
Right. Right.
but what's your thoughts on it?
Who, Kanye?
Yeah.
Man, I'm tired of Kanye, man. I'm tired. Like this dude, man, he always talking about something, man. Like I don't pay attention to anything Kanye does anymore. Like I really don't care. Like I don't care if he got mental health issues. I don't care if he's going through something. I really don't care because there's people that don't have the resources to get the help that they need. Kanye
Mhm.
has the resources. Like so, I don't care. I don't care anything about Kanye. Kanye get hit by a car today, then he just got hit by a car as far as I'm concerned. I
I mean,
don't care. Like
it sounds like rich nigga problems, and that's the one. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I feel I would hope that if it's this issue, he gets help. If it's this, if something can
I
physically
don't care if
help him.
he don't need to get help. I don't care.
Hmm.
Don't get help. Don't
Hmm.
get help. I don't care. I
Hmm.
don't care anything about Kanye. I don't care if Kanye live or die.
I mean, I don't want nobody to die, but
I didn't say I
but
want to die, but if Kanye
if
gets
he
shot
died,
on the
you'd be
street
like,
today,
well.
I'd be like, well, exactly. Like I don't care one bit about Kanye. I
Hmm.
don't I won't lose no sleep over Kanye.
Hmm.
Like I don't care if Kanye got mental health problems. If he don't get help, I don't care.
Hmm.
Don't get no help. I don't care.
Hmm.
Like just stop popping up on my news feeds.
Yeah.
That's what I want Kanye to do for me. I don't want to hear about anything that you do. I
Hmm.
don't care about you. I don't care about your relationships. I don't care about your kids. I don't care about nobody in your life. I don't care about you. I don't want to hear
You
nothing
don't
from
care about him
Kanye.
as a staff record label and as a
No,
motherfucking crew.
I no.
If you
I
down with
don't.
Kanye, then fuck you too.
Yo,
Rockefeller, fuck you too. Chino XL, fuck you too. Nah, I feel that.
Kanye,
Nah, I don't.
Kanye can get lynched.
But it's crazy. It is it's like, damn, like, not to say that he was like a savior or anything like that for hip hop, but it just felt like his brand of hip hop was, I mean, I never considered him like the dopest lyricist, but I consider him being able to make the best music or the best songs, which is dope. I mean, I think he has
Right.
lyrics. I think he's dope in that aspect, but it's like, damn, how did the apple fall so far away from the tree? And it's almost like I mean, we could go back to the Shedeur thing, and I don't think it's at this level, but it's almost like, as an example, would you sign Kanye now as a rapper? And it's like, nah, like I wouldn't want to, just because of how much of a headache that it could potentially bring, you know, to my record label or anything like that. You know, so things like that. I'm like, damn, like what were you thinking? Because I feel like everything, at least from the way I think about it, is calculated. So it wasn't as if he impromptu put on the cape. You know what I'm saying,
Right.
as a KKK, a black KKK person. He knew he was going to do that. He already had it
Right.
planned, or else he would have just came on with it and then just kept it moving. Like I said, I can't operate within the psyche of these people, but you still gotta, understand it from the outside looking in. That shit looks crazy. Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
so,
No.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So
So what, Kanye? Like
yeah.
man, it's
So
like
like
stop giving that dude a platform.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I remember at one point in time they removed his Twitter access. And he was
Yeah, I
getting mad
remember
at
that.
that. Um,
Hey, I'm sure Elon Musk gonna do that now though. But yeah, I
mhm,
remember they did that. Like
yeah.
I mean, people, we could just not pay attention to Kanye. We could
Bro,
do
listen,
that.
nigga, the easiest way to not give anybody the energy is to not pay attention to them. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
could scream and rant all day, every day about some shit, but if we ain't paying attention to you, you know, because like I said, I can't remember the last. I think I tried to listen to the one album, but you know, it was released on his platform and stuff like that. I was like, well, shoot, I'm not about to buy that platform, so
no,
you know, it is what it is. So like I just won't hear that album. But you know, at the same time, it's just like, man, just you know, like you said, people refuse to not pay attention to it. It's just like the same thing with Shannon. It's like, well, if you're not like if people wouldn't make it the aim of focus of, you know, because I think a lot of the problems is that she's young, you know, so I see that
mhm,
like keep coming back and forth. It's like, well, you know, was it legal? It's like, well, no, it's disgusting. I'm like, well, you know, like that impacts the biases on, you know, on the court, if it's a court case or anything like that. You know, you want everybody to get their fair chance. And as I said, I mean, that 100 million that was, you know, potentially out there or allegedly out there, that's gonna be impacted,
right.
you know. So,
Yeah, that's why people need to learn about NDAs. That's what they need to do.
but shoot, I mean, honestly, I mean, you know, NDAs, they don't, you know, it's like say if I was looking up, I don't know if you remember Kevin Johnson used to play for Phoenix. You know, he
Hmm.
had a NDA that if the chick that he got in with, I think it was like I think it was in Phoenix when it happened, but the young chick that he was messing with, that if she took the money and settled, that she couldn't say anything.
Right.
She released, you know, a statement like maybe about, it was like I want to say it was like last year, you know, because I was just looking it up, you know, for the last pod or whatever, and I was like, damn, you know, like even if, you know, you go as far as saying, you know, hey, you know, I have an NDA, blah blah blah, you could still get hit, you know. But luckily,
Yeah.
I mean, the court probably, I mean, not to say that he has more money than Shannon or anything like that, but I mean, I feel like Kevin Johnson kind of nipped it in the bud again, where I mean, we haven't heard anything about it, but you know, it's just crazy that, you know, somebody, and she was underage. It wasn't even like young or, you know, 20 or 25 or whatever the age is, but you know, stuff like that happens. And I mean, you look at Derek Jeter. They said Derek Jeter had it like when you signed into his house, you had to put your phones up. You couldn't
Yeah.
you couldn't do anything, you know. And I mean, I haven't seen any smut on on Derek Jeter.
Jeter.
Yeah.
That's because he treated his jump offs right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. These dudes. I don't, man, look, I don't, man, look, I don't have any of their problems. I ain't got no chicks knocking my door down, so I guess I can't relate. I can't. Like,
They rich.
I don't, yeah, they rich. Like, I don't know why you don't learn how to say, it's okay to say no.
Hmm.
It's okay not to just, like, go after every piece of pussy that come your way.
Hmm.
But I don't know the Shannon Sharp deal.
Hmm.
Um,
No, the Shannon one, like they said, he met her at a gym. They was vibing and ended up messing around, type of stuff. Um, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't. You definitely have to be careful of the people that you deal with, but honestly, I mean, you got to be careful of what you say around people too. Like, you know, and I mean, like I said, that the conversation that they were saying that Shannon had, they said that was, you know, spliced together. So I was like, damn, like you can't even sext or talk wild to a chick over the phone, you know, without, you know, somebody trying to change the narrative of what it actually is. So,
right.
but
Yeah.
that's all good. Let's jump to the next topic. How do you feel about, I don't know if you just saw, but Pistons just lost to the Knicks, so they down
I guess we ain't,
3-1.
yeah, I guess
Um,
we ain't calling fouls no more.
yeah, that was definitely a foul. Um, how do you how do you feel this series will turn out? And what, you know, I heard, and I mean, we'll jump back into it, but I heard a crazy stat that said the Pistons haven't won a home game playoff think they said since
Yeah,
2008.
15, yeah, like 15 years, whatever, 17 years. Yep.
That's
That
crazy.
streak gonna continue because this
Damn.
joint probably ain't coming back to Detroit.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it's
some
what? It's
bullshit.
2-2-1-1-1, right?
No, no, yeah, but I mean, they got a 1 game 5 now.
Yeah. You don't think it gets to get to 7?
Nah, now if the refs ain't gonna be calling fouls.
Damn. And they
Nah, I
they
mean, they
they call
young.
hard in
They
this
young.
game too. You said, go ahead, my bad.
I mean, they young. They not gonna. I mean, the thing about it, like I was talking to my boy about this, man. At the end of the day, man, they lost 28 straight games last year. They only won 14 games. They
No,
won
this
44
is
games this year.
way ahead of
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah. Like I didn't even have any expectations for them this year. But if
Mhm.
you would have told me my best expectation for the Pistons, best expectation will be in the number 9, number 10 slot in the playing game. They made the
Mhm.
playoffs outright. They were the 6th seed. Like they're
And
going up against
that's good in itself. I mean, they didn't even have to be in the
yeah,
play-in, so that's dope as hell in itself.
yeah. And I think the Knicks are. I thought it was a better matchup for them because I thought how they played them in the regular season. But at the same time, also I understand the regular season is the regular season, and
Mhm.
I think the core of them, Cunningham, Duran, like you that like for most of them, this is their first playoff run. Like there were some veterans there, like Tobias and Tim Hardaway Jr. I think Beasley has a little bit of playoff experience, but you're talking about like your core guys.
Mhm.
And Ivy has been out for the majority of the season. Like, I think. I thought it was a better matchup for them than if they would have got into that 4th or 5th seed and maybe had to face like Indiana or Milwaukee.
Mhm.
But still, I mean, even if they lose the series in 5, man, like at the end of the day, man, like man, they weren't supposed to be here. Like
Mhm.
you if you would have at this time last year, if you would have said the Pistons would be in the first round of the playoffs down 3-1, you would have said, yeah, right. So
Mhm.
I mean, the season, regardless how this turned out, it's a success. I don't think they're gonna come back from 3-1. Maybe they'll win game 5, but I
Mhm.
don't. I don't. They're young. I don't think they had the experience
Mhm.
I think the Knicks. That core's kind of been here. I still don't know how that's not a foul, but
Yeah,
whatever.
no, it was a foul. And
But
I mean, you brought up a great point. That Knicks core, and honestly, if you look at like Mike Bridges, Brunson, hell, even Josh Hart. Like, I didn't think Josh Hart was go be not to say not a real NBA player, but
right,
I didn't think he had like he's athletic, but I'm just saying from the time that I mean, all the way back to Villanova, them playing together, it's like crazy to think that um
yeah,
it's some sound in the background. Okay. Oh, with Josh Hart and Brunson playing together, all the way even back to
right,
college. It just
hmm
they have a good chemistry, going,
right,
playing together, and then adding Cat. I mean, honestly, I didn't think Julius Randle was that bad, but when he was an all-star the year before, but it's
yeah,
just like before the Brunson got there, it's just like crazy to think that them three, are kind of leading that team, even though Michael didn't shoot that great today. But
right,
just knowing that they all have experience within the playoffs and understand the game, it's going to be a little bit harder for the Pistons to be able to get over that hump.
right. Yeah. So, um, it's cool though. This is a nice run.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Lakers Minnesota series?
Uh, I don't know. I feel like it go either way. Cause
Mhm.
what is it? Minnesota's up 2-1.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Minnesota made it to the conference finals last year. I mean, I think they kind of fell off a little bit this year. Um,
Hmm.
but I still think they're solid. I mean, a
Hmm.
team with like LeBron and Luca, I'm not gonna like say it's over.
Hmm.
I think that series can go either way. Cause
Hmm.
what was that? Is that the 4-5 seed matchup?
Yep. No, 3-6. 3-6.
3-6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
Minnesota had like a slide for like towards.
yeah.
They had a slide in like maybe 3 quarters into the season, and then they
Right.
started picking back up and fought back to the 6th seed.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all depends on when teams get hot, in my opinion, and
Right.
confidence. It's like I think teams could be intimidated by playing a LeBron or a Luca, but Minnesota, I like the more time you give other teams to gain confidence, the harder it's going to get.
Right.
That Lakers series could have went, I don't know, 4-0 or 4-1, gentleman's sweep, like stuff like that. But when teams start to build confidence, now you got Minnesota that was just, I mean, that second half they took off and just start
Right.
killing it, and the Lakers couldn't keep up. Even though LeBron had a hell of a game, but and I think Luka might have he didn't get like hurt, but I think
Right.
they were saying like he
Oh,
was
he
just
was
kind of,
sick or something.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting to see like Minnesota up 2-1. I still think it'll probably go 7. I still think the Lakers can will themselves past it. But who would they play in the next round? They'll play it's not the Clippers or Denver. It'd be who is it? I can't remember who they play next round.
No, it'd be Houston or Golden State.
Yeah, Houston to Golden State. So I don't know. I mean, like Houston balled out this whole season. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, if I'm the Lakers, well, I don't know because Jimmy's there. I was gonna say I'd probably be more afraid of Houston and Golden State, but because Houston got some good vet. I like, even though a lot of people don't like his look, but I like Dylan Brooks a lot. But they're hella young too.
Man, I
But
don't know
Golden
if they're gonna
State,
get past Golden State.
huh?
I don't know if they're gonna get past Golden State.
Yeah, but
They're
that
down
that
2-1
part,
right now.
yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. Like you almost want to play Houston than you would than Golden State.
Golden State, yeah.
So it's just tricky because you got certain players, like it's the dog players that that could just, you had Steph. Like I was watching the Houston game and I was just like, I stopped watching it the second half. I'm like, oh damn, Houston, they got him, blah blah blah. And then I look up in the fourth, I'm getting notifications on my phone, and I turn it back on, and then Golden State won the game. So it's just interesting with certain teams that have like these great players versus, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Houston has some great players and some great potential players, but at the same time, it's still more difficult to, in my opinion, beat a seasoned great player than a potential great player.
Yeah, because they didn't make the playoffs last year, did they? Yeah, so I mean, I mean, somewhat similar to Detroit, somewhat similar to what OKC was last year, but I think OKC has like a lot more talent. Like they're just young. I think it became a bad matchup for them with Golden State just because. I mean, you talking about that's just the. I mean, they just got championships over there. And Jimmy's been to 2 NBA Finals himself. Like, despite his antics early in the season when he forced that trade out of Miami, I mean, when Jimmy, that to me, that was probably the first time in Jimmy's career where you saw Jimmy like a male content like that. Like you've seen Jimmy where, he gets into it with teammates because he don't think that they're playing
I mean,
hard.
in Minnesota, he
Yeah,
fought his way out.
yeah. But I mean, I think, but you even look at that, I felt like that was the issue with teammates, like where he went at Cat and Wiggins and was just barking on them in practice. I think towards the end of that, I think that short run in Philly, I think I heard like him kind of having issues with Ben Simmons, and we
I
get it
mean, he
now.
was on point with that one.
Yeah, I think
he wasn't far off. I mean, hindsight is 2020 though, but he wasn't far off with that one.
Nah. And I think in Miami, I think this year, like I think this is the first time I felt like I saw Jimmy like even the fact where like he kind of admitted that like basketball wasn't fun no more. He pretty much said like he wasn't like playing hard. Like I feel like in those situations in Philly and Minnesota, I don't think he had necessarily stopped playing hard. He
Hmm.
had a frustration with his teammates, but I think with all that said, then you see he goes to Golden State and he is kind of back to the Jimmy Butler that we used to seeing.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know if I know he got hurt. I don't know if he played in because he get hurt in game 2 or game
Nah,
3.
they said he's gonna be back Monday. He didn't play yesterday,
Okay,
and he's gonna be
okay.
back
So like
Monday.
I
They said he's
mean,
supposed to be back. They were like he was a game time decision for Saturday, and then they said he most likely be back Monday. So if he play Monday,
yeah,
I don't know. It, it gets rough
yeah. I think
for
if
Houston.
he's yeah, like I think if he like if the injury doesn't have like an impact on his playing ability, like
Hmm.
I don't see Houston. I don't know that I think Houston can win that series.
Yeah.
Um,
Like I said, they young too. I mean,
uh,
Ime Udoka, I mean, he fucked over Nia, but he's a pretty good
yeah,
coach.
yeah.
I
Not, I
mean,
mean they're young. Like to me, like
he's coaching them up to be, as good as he can get them. They just may not have enough to get past Golden State.
yeah, like I mean I think man, it's not teams that make like a deep playoff run when they're young and this is their first run in the playoffs. So like they probably need like and you're playing a veteran squad. It's not like you're not playing like a traditional 7 seed. You're
Nah,
playing Golden State, who was kind of
was on the
figuring
run.
things out
They was
during
on
the
the run too.
season.
Yeah, they was on the
Yeah,
run because they
so
got
it's
Jimmy. So
yeah, so it's like like because I really like I think if Houston were to um, beat Golden State, I think they lose in the second round to the Lakers or the Timberwolves.
yeah.
Like
I
I
think
don't
they
think
run
they'd
out
be
of
able to beat
energy.
them at
I
all.
mean, it's only so much, I mean, Kaminga. It's weird that Kaminga. They were saying how when Kaminga did turn down the extension, like his minutes kind of went down, and you know, um,
Yeah,
and I just like yesterday was the first time I seen Kaminga in the game in a long time, like playing extensive minutes. I think he played maybe 20 or 25, but that was, in my opinion, I think that's because Jimmy got hurt. Um,
yeah. That's what they're saying. Yeah,
so,
you got to
but how you feel
put some
about
time.
Orlando and in Boston?
Uh, who cares? Uh, did Orlando didn't win the other day? Did they?
They down 2-1.
How they get a win? Uh, they
I think they
they.
got the split,
they
and then Boston came and ran them on the next one. So
they won in Boston?
yeah, I think they did. I got to check it, but yeah, I think they got the split. So
Mm, they ain't gonna get no more splits.
you think it's 4-1? You think it's over?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it goes 6 games, it's just because Boston don't care. Like, 'cause I know Tatum was hurt. Is Tatum
that
back?
part. Yeah, that was the thing. He got hurt, and
Yeah. I mean, they'll still beat Orlando if Tatum doesn't come back. But I'm sure if Tatum is still hurt going into season 2, he'll just exhume Kobe's body and give him a hand job to get like some healing. Like either that or he'll just call Kobe's voicemail and leave a voicemail like, "Hey, hey, Mama,
that's what he
I'm
could
hurt.
do.
Can you send something down to me to help me get better?"
That's funny. So
He'll
let me
probably
ask you
get
this
a
question, just a random question, not even back to this series. Like, how do you feel about Uma Udoka? Like,
oh
what would you do with Uma Udoka
well
for fucking over Nia?
well I'll get to that, but one last thing on Tatum. Tatum now after he does contact Kobe either through text messaging or exhuming his body,
Mm.
he's gonna get on his back, he's gonna get a tattoo of Kobe limping to the free throw line after he tore his ACL.
That's the tat he's gonna get.
Yeah, and that's gonna be his motivation to show that like I'm strong, I'm a strong boy too. Um, as far as I'm or whatever his name is, I
Hmm.
mean, look, man, look, man, like it ain't even really no beef for real, man. Like you screwed Nia over and you open her eligibility back up. So, uh, man, I ain't even mad at you. Like it's better that you screwed her over. So like, I mean, I could think that I could have a shot to be the rebound guy.
You got a shot,
Um,
man. Everybody got a shot.
yeah, I can. I'll just say to her like, look, I'm not a successful NBA coach. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not gonna cheat on you. I you're the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, like Nia, settle for somebody that's not gonna cheat on you. Like, or Nia, if you want, if you don't value yourself, you don't know your worth, Queen. Um, Go ahead, find another NBA head coach and watch him cheat on you with the ball girl or whoever it was. Like, but Nia, trust me, Nia, if you get with me, nah, I ain't cheating on you, Nia. I'm in it for life. Look, I don't have like, you know, I ain't at the job. It ain't like women knocking down my door at the job. So then you ain't got to worry about that. And if anybody did come for me, I'd be like, "Excuse me, miss, but I'm taken. Leave me alone, you little Jabel."
You
Like
put it in that place.
I
Even
put
a
it in her
19-year
place.
old
But
OnlyFans woman.
yep, I be like, I don't care about your OnlyFans. I'm not gonna subscribe to it. You Jezebel, you hussy. Like I got a real live OnlyFans in my house with Nia Long. Nia stays in my house, and we just enjoy life in East Point. Like
I feel you.
we've settled down. Nia's not Hollywood anymore. I'll be like, Nia, come to East Point. Like you ain't like
You want
Nia
to move
walk
out there with
around
her?
East Point. Nah, because I want her to maintain her confidence and let her know, like, look, Nia, like, don't have me come out to some big city where you at. Like, I don't even know where she lives. Like, don't make me come out there and
Probably
like
Hollywood.
Hollywood, and maybe I get tempted and like Nia walk around like East Point. You gonna be the best thing here. Like,
Let's talk about the Milwaukee and Pacer series. How do you feel about that one?
who cares? Like, what is that? That's the 4 and 5 seed.
Yeah.
Uh, that's that's just lining up. That's just Boston having a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, I don't know what Milwaukee gonna do if they lose because it'll be three straight first round exits for them. I don't think they're gonna win though. Like,
Do you
what
think
about
they
you?
shake it up?
I
No.
feel
I feel
yeah,
like, so I'll give my opinion on that. I think they got to do something different, whether it's Dame and Giannis. I honestly don't think that they played that bad together, but it's just not equating to
they ain't gonna
success.
win a championship. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just one of them things. It's like, well, do you keep them together and you keep, going to the first round, and then either exit or making it to the second round and exit? Is like, well, is your team? I mean, honestly, the Knicks
like you
have
go.
gotten better to the point. It's like, well, the Knicks has a team. Not to say that they'll beat Boston. I think Boston will probably end up taking it all overall, but they have a team that can compete at
Yeah,
all positions, and I don't think Milwaukee has that.
yeah. I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about. Excuse me, just like Dallas trading Luca for Anthony Davis, where like uh, it was just weird. It was almost like Anthony Davis can't be the best player that you could have gotten in a trade
Hmm.
because while Anthony Davis can ball, it's always a question of if. And he
Hmm.
showed that when we got hurt the first game. They got hurt to playing. But anyway, we were talking and like try like saying like if you call Milwaukee and say Giannis for Luca, like and consider like to what you just said, like why where you might have thought it wouldn't like be something that could happen. Like
Hmm.
if you look at it, you could have seen like like it's what you're saying about breaking the team up. Like if you Milwaukee, you probably maybe should consider it because you add Luca, you're not winning a championship like Giannis is, and it's not. I don't think it's Giannis's fault. Like, but
Mhm.
you can't like your goal as Milwaukee. You won a championship what 3 years ago. Like
Mhm.
your goal with Giannis on your team, the goal should be a championship. If you're not even able to get out the first round, like, do you just say, okay, we're gonna start with a rebuild and we're gonna rebuild around Luca?
Mhm.
Like, I kind of all that just going like, if you're Milwaukee, do you blow things up? And like, I mean, I think you do, but I don't know who you, man. You'd have to like, if you were to even consider trading Giannis,
Mhm.
like, man, you gotta,
Who you get for him? Like that's.
yeah, it's either you go into we rebuilding now, and you just like get like a bunch of like potential young players. Like I'll say, like, say if they were talk to Detroit,
Mhm.
and you say to Detroit, you
Giannis would be
say,
dope in Detroit, by the way,
yeah, like you could say,
but you got
and
to
let's
trade
say you,
everybody.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Like I was like, say you're Detroit, and you say, all right, we want to keep Cade though. So then
Mhm.
at that point, it's like you probably got to do Ivy somewhere in
Mhm.
there. Ivy has to be in this trade. Duran has to be in this trade. Maybe Holland, Thompson. I'm not saying all of, like, maybe it's Holland or Thompson. Like you might have to consider re-signing, doing putting I mean Malik Beasley or hey, whatever his name is. But like you
Mhm.
probably at least got to create a package that is like Ivy, possibly Duran, and then like Holland or Thompson.
Mhm.
And that's you essentially
Good in the
like,
team.
yeah, gutting the team. And if you're Milwaukee, you may be considered because okay, you got Dame who honestly, man, to me, if you would decide to do it, then you should probably look to move Dame too. Now I don't think you'll get as
I
much bang
look.
for Dame,
You ever say I see
but you should,
everything that with them the players that you mentioned. If you get them to Milwaukee, you essentially put Dame in the same position he was in 2 years ago.
import. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think but if I'm Milwaukee, I mean, cause the thing is, I don't know what you can get for Dame. Like I don't know if you can get a piece back for Dame
Hmm.
that you could feel comfortable building around Giannis that you could make another run. Because like the Boston's gonna be Boston. Like Boston look like they're gonna be Boston for like 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
Like I think if
They just getting better. I mean, you got
yeah,
Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. I mean, you got players that don't get me wrong. I mean, I think that they were talented before, but I mean, it was like one game during the season where Peyton Pritchard and Derek White both had 40 points.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
in the same game.
So yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember it.
So,
Yeah, I'm like, dang, two bench players or two.
mhm,
Well, I don't know if they both come off the bench, but they was two players who, if you would have still said Boston was gonna have two players with 40,
mhm,
them would have been the team. Them would have been the team you came. Your first thought would have been Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum,
mhm,
and your second thought would have been, all right, it's gonna be at least one of them, and
mhm.
maybe one of these other dudes.
Maybe Porzingis. I wouldn't even
Yeah,
think
yeah,
those two
oh,
players would have been the
right.
ones that got the 40 off. So,
Yeah, like no way, but like so yeah. If you Milwaukee, you looking at Boston's gonna be there. Cleveland.
mhm.
Um, I don't think about Milwaukee. We seen. I don't know if you better than Indiana. I don't know if you really. You might be on Detroit's level
Mhm.
if Detroit is able to keep this team intact. We see what happens with Ivy next year.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I don't like. I think Milwaukee. Man, I think Milwaukee is probably more like a 6 or 7 seed team. Like that. Like Milwaukee might be the only reason Milwaukee might not be a play-in team is because in some ways the East is weak.
Mhm.
Like I don't think I don't think Philly's maybe Philly will surprise us, but I don't see Philly.
I don't see them
I
getting
don't
past
know.
5.
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe Embiid comes back next season. He comes back like balling and Paul George. Like instead of competing with us for like podcast rankings, like he actually hoops.
No,
Um,
that team is a mess. I
yeah,
just
like,
Philly is terrible. I thought it was a great. I mean, I think Paul George is a great talent,
yeah,
but he's just not a great talent for like. I didn't understand why he left. I thought he had a great situation in L.A. and you got a player that consistently, not say consistently stays hurt, but at least you're in the limelight enough to get a $40 million a year contract just because. Um,
right.
what's his name?
Kawhi.
Fucking Kawhi. Yeah, Kawhi stays hurt. You know, and honestly, if you look, I can't even remember the pieces that they got for him. But I mean, if you had Paul George, I think the Clippers gonna win this first series anyway against Denver. I
They're
mean,
gonna beat Denver.
it's gonna be a fight, but like you have Paul George on that team, you have another a weapon
Yeah,
to compete in the playoffs, and I mean they are playing great together. Um, but yeah, I mean back to Milwaukee, man. I don't know, man. I just
Kawhi
don't.
gonna.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to get rid of Giannis. I mean, because like, I always say
Yeah,
it's always hard to get rid of a player that won a championship for you. But then again,
yeah,
you got coaches that are, what I'm saying, getting fired, like Mike
yeah,
Malone. I still don't
yeah.
like something really. This is where I feel like we don't have the intel, and it's fine. But when you
Right,
see a coach like Mike Malone get fired, and you've only heard good things about him, it's
right.
like it's hard to swallow. Pause.
Swallow. Yeah,
Um, but I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't. But like Giannis, I don't know who. If they, like I said, if they were trade him, I feel like they just have to get a package of like young players back. Like, because I don't think there's anybody. I don't know if there's anybody straight up because the Lakers
No,
aren't
you
going to
can't do
trade
straight up
Luca.
because it's too much money. And he making
Yeah,
like
but even
50 million a year.
he probably is. But I'm thinking like if you, for instance, I think like the Lakers aren't going to trade Luca. Um, if you're Denver, you're not trading Jokic. You're not. And if you're OKC, you're not trading SGA. After that, I don't know any other. Boston's not giving up
That's the thing. They threw
Tatum.
this money. They ain't getting rid of none of the players that's making that amount of money.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, like
and you got to have like a bat. Like it's got to be like Jimmy, like
yeah,
Jimmy
it,
Butler. Like he making 48. Their contracts might match up or be close to it. But the players that's getting like you're not going to trade Steph or you're not going to trade. Um, hell, I mean, LeBron's not going to Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that's just what it is. And as you mentioned, the other players, and even like a Boncaro, I think he might be up for it right now for his extension.
mhm,
But you're not going to trade your young talent for him either. So
yeah,
it's just like you got to piece stuff together and have multiple teams within the trade. So I'm
yeah.
still surprised to this day about the Luca and AD trade. I mean, it wasn't like totally straight up. It was pretty much, like AD was
Straight
making
up.
this amount and Luca was making that, and I think Luca would have been up for the super max, but it's
Yeah.
just that's the only trade
Uh,
I've seen where it was not to say fair, but it was because it wasn't fair as far as the like you said the
talent.
if part of it.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like that Luca Davis trade. Like I think when it first happened, I think I was like, oh, I can kind of see like why Dallas does it. Like if you could get Anthony Davis healthy, but then it's like, hey, like, nah, that's a big if though. And clearly, like we possibly if like along with the fact of man, Luca's a generational talent, man. Like you said, this one, like you said, I think this is you look around the league and you see some of the things that have happened. This is one of those things where it just seems like, man, there must be other stuff going on for y'all to feel like to trade Luca. But like I said, that's all that. Like you look at the at the coach firings, like you got my man in Memphis. Where I did read an article about that, where I think I kind of understood it a little bit better, but in some ways that makes sense. But like I said, Mike Malone getting fired. I think there was another coach that got fired. You can make the argument going back to last
My
season
man
when
getting
like
fired from
Bernie
Milwaukee.
Bickerstaff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I was thinking about Bernie Bickerstaff getting fired from Cleveland. Like, and like granted,
Ain't no loyalty
Atkinson
no
is
more.
nah, not at all. Like, man, but I don't think like I really don't know what Dallas was thinking. Like I think even like it was a week or two ago, I think what that GM, Nico
You
whatever,
just need to shut the fuck
said
up.
he do. But like because he had said something like he didn't understand the impact like the fans like love for like Luca. Like, are you serious?
He didn't
Like
even have to say it. Like the stupid part about it
yeah,
is
that's the thing.
like there's metrics out there. Like there's not even
Yeah.
is you can see these amount of fans really appreciate Luca. These amount of fans hate Luca. These amount of fans are in between Luca. You can look at metrics as far as ticket sales from them getting Luca over the last 5 years or last 7 years or whatever. You can see like they're not coming to see. Don't get me wrong, I like Kyrie a lot, but and Kyrie did bring fans, but I don't like those same fans were there for Luca. But Kyrie just kind of influenced them a little bit more. But they still was there for Luca. They were there for Luca and Kyrie, not strictly for Kyrie.
Yeah, like I think the only trade, I think there may have only been a couple trades that Dallas could have made that the fan base would have been like, "Oh, we get it," and that would have been if they traded for Jokic or if they traded for Gilgeous Alexander.
Yeah.
Like
And honestly, if
I
they did
can't think.
SGA, I think it'd have been like a racist undertone or prejudice undertone to that one.
To that
So
one, yeah. So like it ain't. Or I keep forgetting about that light skinned boy in Boston, Tatum.
mhm.
Um,
He'd caught
and
flack
maybe
too.
he would have caught flack, but you would have. I think the
Is
fan
the light
like
skin energy?
my light skin energy, but he at least got the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he's consistent. He doesn't get hurt.
yeah,
Like if
yeah,
he gets hurt, he's usually out maybe, a couple games or a few games here and there. But
but he
like
ain't missing
Jason
a
Tatum's
huge
is pretty
chunk.
consistent. You say what?
What you just said, he doesn't miss a huge chunk. Like I think the playoff game he just missed. They said it was the first playoff game he missed in his career. And
That's
he's
crazy.
been to a few playoffs. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like so. Yeah, like you could have. So yeah, I'd say Luke. I'd say possible ones that fans might have been okay with, or at least would have been like, okay. We kind of get it. Is like you said, Jokic, uh, SGA, or like Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think they would have accepted Jalen Brown. They'd be like, yo, he too dark. Give us a light
Yeah.
skin one.
Yeah, I don't
No, they
think
wouldn't be like that.
I don't think they'd take Booker. Shoot, I don't like. I really don't think
Yeah,
there's too
no,
many
I
players
don't
that
think.
you could say that you can replace Luca with, unless you get like a host of young talent that but you have to get the whole team. It's like
Yeah,
for that. So
maybe Anthony Edwards, but what you're just saying,
that
you're
might
gonna
work, but
take
that dark
Anthony
skin
Edwards.
ain't gonna work with him.
Ain't gonna work. But hey, the Dallas might appreciate that dog he got in him though. But like it
Yeah.
would have to be like Anthony Edwards to what you're saying, and then you probably got to throw in like a Nas Reed or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
throw in like another one of those like pieces. But
Mm-hmm.
like it ain't many that like it. All I know was Anthony Davis wasn't it. I know that part. That's I know for the most part. Like
If AD averaged 65 to 70 games a season, I think, not to say that it's an even trade still, but I would feel more comfortable about him playing consistent over a series or over a set of seasons versus
yeah,
like
well,
you just don't know. Like you just
yeah,
hope that he's ready for the playoffs. So you hope it's almost like trading him for Kawhi. It's like, well, no, that's just crazy because you just don't know Kawhi's consistency. Like now, when Kawhi gets on the court, he can Kawhi can be considered the best player on the court whenever he plays. You
yeah.
know, but he has
He
to get
about
out
to
there
get hurt
first.
in game 6 though.
Shoot, I mean, if he get hurt, I mean, it's over for the Clippers. But I really think, I think it's gonna come down
Well,
with that Clippers and Denver series. Come down to coaching. So
well, it's not if, it's when.
Oh, okay.
I'm predicting Kawhi's gonna get hurt in Game 6.
Okay, so
That's
game
gonna
six.
be my
Okay.
prediction.
Wait, what series are
Yeah.
they in game? Because is
Then game
that was 2-2?
4,
That was
well
2-2.
game 5 because they're 2-2.
Yeah.
So like they'll go up 3-2,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll have a chance to close it out. And Kawhi will he'll stub his pinky toe, like he'll be trying to catch a pass and he'll hit his pinky,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll be gone for the series, and then Denver will win game 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that. That's a fair prediction.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if it'd be his toe, but I would hope that it's his toe over a hamstring or leg injury in general, or Achilles or something. So
You never know with Kawhi. Kawhi just get injured and don't even tell you what's hurt. Like you just know he ain't playing.
I remember seeing this thing. It was saying how Kawhi, like how Kawhi is so normal that he would play an NBA game, come home, take his jacket off, sit at the table, like it was just like a work day or something. Rather than, like
Yeah,
don't even
yeah.
talk about it. Like he was just like he plays the NBA like it's just a normal job or something like that. Like he'd take off his work coat, sit down, take off his work boots, and just and just sit at the table
It's
and
just-
be ready to eat dinner type of shit. I was like, that's funny.
that dude is so weird.
Hell no.
I don't know how I feel about Kawhi. Like
Mm.
the problem is though is like that like they're talking about that inside the NBA. Like the Kawhi doesn't even have rust when he comes back. Like Kawhi sits out for like 46 games. First game back, he comes and gives you like 32
16 or
points,
20 or
16
25.
boards. Yeah, and locks down the best player on the other team.
Hmm.
And you like, man, you ain't played in 46 games. Like,
Kawhi comes back well rested.
yeah, like, and he don't have to get in the game shape. Like, it's like I believe in Kawhi more than I believe in Anthony Davis. Actually, like, I don't know why.
I don't know, because sometimes AD will go down and but I'll say this: AD will come back during that game, but it's almost like it's reminiscent of like that. Remember when Paul Pierce got hurt that one playoff, and he
Yeah.
had to
Oh
be
yeah.
carried out or whatever, and either carried out or
Then
ended up in a wheelchair, and then he came
yeah.
back like he was, I don't know, Walt Frazier or something like that for the
Right.
Knicks. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Like of injuries, I gotta think that one out. You said Kawhi
I,
over AD.
yeah, but I know that he probably
AD,
plays Anthony
Kawhi
Davis.
has won. You know, AD won the chip, with the Lakers, but Kawhi when he plays, he could give you, he could get you, he could he could get you buck. So would you trade? Would you have traded Kawhi instead of AD for Luka?
I might have just because they're two big ifs.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, but I think like man, I think you saw that year in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kawhi, like if you would have put him with Kyrie, who I mean, of course Kyrie did get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I
Championships
think like
contenders.
yeah, like Kawhi just like if you gonna like take a roll of the dice, man, then just do it with Kawhi. Like, cause I don't know that a healthy Anthony Davis gets you there.
I think Dallas has a good roster that fits around Anthony Davis. I
They do.
feel, well, with Kyrie is, a combo
Yeah.
guard, of course, and he could shoot. But I feel, I feel like sometimes when you like, say for instance, Kawhi,
Davis.
fucking, no, Luca and Kyrie. Like I feel like you're almost playing like one-on-one ball the whole game because you only get 24
Yeah.
seconds, right? So it's
Yeah.
almost like who has the ball in their hand, who could be effective within the 24 seconds. And they made it to the finals, so they did something right, but
Right.
um that one-on-one ball, because it's almost like it used to be like that with Jalen and Jason Tatum, but it felt like somebody had to take the back seat.
Yeah,
At times, and I mean that's how I feel like they ended up winning.
yeah,
Um,
they figured it out.
so yeah, so with AD, you got AD, Lively, with Kyrie,
Was it
um,
Gafford,
Gafford. Um,
Clay?
that's a pretty good. Max Christie. Um, they got some good pieces to spread them out.
Yeah,
Pause to be able to not say the finals or anything like that, but they can compete. But I mean, they all got to stay on the court. So
yeah, oh, yeah. I don't know. Dallas was, in hindsight, this is gonna be one of those trades that like people won't understand why it was made. Like
mhm.
Dallas to me got to get like I've said I think Dallas needs to get 2 championships to justify the trade. Um, if you want to say one, then say one because I don't think they're gonna get one anyway. Um,
If the
but
Lakers get it, is it a wrap for Dallas rebounding from this trade? Um,
yeah,
that
I think even
Go ahead.
I, I think even now that the Lakers ended up getting into the 3 seed and playing well after Luca, like man, I think early on is showing that like they won the trade. But I think, like I said, if the Lakers would have get a championship, man, low key, if the Lakers, I don't necessarily think they'll get this far, but if the Lakers actually made it to the Western Conference Finals
Hmm.
this year, man,
Hmm.
I mean, Dallas will have to do a lot to me. Like right now, Dallas has to do a lot to like justify the trade of Luca, because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, like Lakers probably got 10 years with this. Like what you did for the Lakers, like
You extended
this is
LeBron's career.
yeah, this is the thing with the Lakers. Is like they always have a superstar, and it's
Hmm.
like you go to like, and I'm just thinking about our time being live. Like you had like Magic and Kareem, and then you went to that stretch after Magic and Kareem retired. You probably went into that stretch from what like 91, 92 to like 96, 97. I
Hmm.
guess that they really didn't have like a real superstar. Man, but then they go out there in free agency and get Shaq.
Yeah,
Then
that
they
was
had Kobe
96.
in the
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Then they
then
had Kobe in the draft,
yep.
and then you have a couple years where you out of it after Kobe retired. Now you bring in LeBron.
Hmm.
Now you not added Luca. So when LeBron steps away, like retires or leaves the Lakers, you got Luca,
Yep.
and you the Lakers.
Hmm.
You're gonna have people willing to come play with Luca, and if when LeBron retires, that salary is coming off the books. So you gonna have money to go out to sign like another superstar. And you telling
Hmm.
me that like I don't even know who's up for free agency, but you're not telling me that man. Let's say SGA gets a chip in OKC,
Hmm.
but then let's say like and let's say just think business happens, a couple players leave out of there. Or you at least not telling me that like in 5 years, like well I'll just say I'll say 3 years. In 3 years, if LeBron retires and the Lakers have all this cap space, they not gonna be an attractive option to SGA.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, hell, I
eh,
thought
eh,
Clay
eh,
should have went there in the offseason. I mean, I know Clay kind of mad
yeah,
that he in Dallas, playing without Luca, but I mean, he was another piece too. I mean, it's just like you said. I mean, I think he signed for maybe 20. It's like 20 or $25 million a year, something like that.
yeah,
But you know, shoot, he's a LA. Well, he's a LA native, and his father played for the team.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, I don't know how much he'll have in the tank after those 3 years, but and that would be crazy if Nico trades for him to the Lakers. So
uh,
it like that'd be interesting. But as you said, I mean, it's an attractive place to go to with a
yeah,
great talent. I mean, it's not like Luca's a ball hog. Luca is an effective player that gets all of the players involved and he changes the pace of the game. So,
yep,
you look at, like I said, with all them players that was playing with them last year to make it to the finals. I can't see too many players. And like I said, I'm not in their locker room, but I can't see too many players that are like, I don't want to play with Luca. I can see that with LeBron
yeah,
though, but I can see it. I don't see it with
right.
Luca.
Yeah. Like, man, I could see Cade Cunningham in like 5 years
Mm.
being like, man, I'm ready to go to the flashiness of LA
Yeah.
and leave Detroit. Like that's and go play with Luca. Man, an embarrassment of riches for the Lakers. It's like I look at that, it's like, man, like where's David Stern when you need him to veto a trade? Like,
Yeah.
why David Stern goes to the came up and like Chris Paul this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this ain't happening. Like, I don't know what y'all did, but because that trade really don't seem you could have got. I feel like you could have got better for Luca. Like,
It
like I
was
said,
it was definitely surprising. I mean, like I said, I think AD is a
uh,
talent. I mean, and they were starting to win too, so it wasn't like the Lakers were, they were starting to head towards that, and I think
right,
Luka benefited from that. Moved them up from it was damn near. They were still within like playing like 6 seed and stuff like that, but then they moved
yeah,
up to. Um,
Detroit.
but you just had to have like AD be consistent in that scenario. And as I mean, him trading him for Luca um, definitely wouldn't be a move I would do as a GM. No matter how much beer he drinks and how much hookah he smokes, I wouldn't have done it. It's like almost a so I put it like this. I would have only way I would have done it was if I was protected. And
Mm-hmm.
being protected means like I don't have to keep defending this. I don't have to show up to press conferences because I feel like they were like, well, like same from the owners. I feel like the owners was like, all right, well, if this trade is going to happen, you're going to have to speak at all the press
Be on the
conferences and
front
talk about it.
lines.
So
Yeah,
you are fully responsible for this trade. And I feel like Nico signed on for it, rather than
yeah.
saying, no, I can't do that. And maybe that may have cost him, could have cost him his job as well too. But I'd rather that than, because that's perception. So if Nico gets
Mm-hmm.
fired, then it's like, well, who else is going to hire him when
You're gonna be the
that the
dude
last
that
best
traded
move that
Luca.
he did was trade Luca for Anthony
Yeah,
Davis. So
yeah, man.
so
That dude.
cool. Well, thanks everyone for attending the podcast. Thanks, Ed. Good to see you as always. We'll talk soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Don't leave a comment. I don't give a shit. Just make sure that you pay attention to the podcast and keep it moving. Thank you all for attending. Peace.
Peace.